In this video, we are going to be going over why you need to stop praising women and describe them instead. I made a very strong and powerful video on how to speak to women effectively, how to communicate with them effectively. I'm going to link that video down below. And in a part of that video, I talk about describing women. So this is actually not the whole formula on how to speak to women, how to communicate with women. That video goes over the whole formula. Now this is us going in deeper into the nuance of describing them. Now there's a major mistake that so many men make. They praise a woman and they are not present with a woman. So they just think that if they compliment a woman over and over, oh baby, you're so beautiful. Oh, your eyes are so pretty. Oh, your smile is so gorgeous. I love your fit. I love your body. Whatever it is. You know, lustful comments are probably the worst. They seek validation. They over-explain themselves. They perform to impress a woman. You do realize that women are very receptive in their nature. They will pick up on all of this stuff. They become needy and they start stacking compliments, which means that one moment they're telling the girl that she's pretty. The next moment they're telling the girl that she's beautiful. The next moment they're telling the girl that she's the best girl ever. I've never met a woman like you in my life. Now, to a lot of the sisters watching this, you'd be like, yeah, I want a man to be able to say all that to me. Yeah, well, when he says all that stuff to you, why do you run away? Why are you like, oh, I don't really like this guy anymore? It's because this is actually now not how he is supposed to communicate with you. How a woman wants to be communicated with deeply, internally, through her biochemical responses. This is what women respond to, by the way. I'm not talking about what women think they want. I'm not talking about what men think women want. I'm talking about what women actually respond to. And it is being described. Okay, and the worst thing you could do as a man is you don't listen. You don't observe. And what happens when you start to praise a woman over and over and over and over? Well, you start to put her on a pedestal. And when you put this woman on a pedestal, you cause a loss in attraction because women naturally want a man who is better than them. A leader, a protector, a provider, somebody who's grounded, somebody who does not choke under pressure, someone who is not reactive, someone who can be a wall that this woman can lean on. So they're looking for a man who is grounded in his energy. Well, when you're overly complimenting a woman, stacking compliments, being needy, over-explaining, seeking validation, praising her, not listening, well, all you're showing her that is you're not grounded. All you're showing her is that you are not the man who is better than her, because you're putting her on such a pedestal by complimenting her and praising her and making her seem like she is this goddess, astaghfirullah, that you're just telling her that she could do better. Because the man who she really wants doesn't compliment her and over-explain and do all this stuff. The man who she really wants describes her. The man who she really wants builds a connection with her. The man who she really wants is the man who she can't stop thinking about the second that they are no longer in each other's presence. The second they're not talking on the phone anymore, the second they're not texting anymore, the second that he's gone to work and she's at home, she's missing him. She's thinking about him all day. She's obsessed about this guy. Now, this video is for married men or people who are looking to get married. I'm a Muslim man. This channel says Sharez.Muslim. We are not promoting any manipulation games. We're not promoting any ego, control, being a player, building a roster. How do I make her obsessed? Even though I just said that she will become obsessed, but with the right intentions, okay? She will start to love you with the right intentions. She will start to admire you with the right intentions. She will start to respect you with the right intentions. So if you're gonna use this for love bombing, control, or take from her, take her energy instead of building a connection with her, then please just exit out of this video. I don't want you here, right? This is for the men with good intentions. Now, if you want a deeper connection with a woman, if you're actually looking for a marriage or you're already married, or if you have found yourself over complimenting women, over explaining, chasing women, and you actually don't want to do that anymore because you saw how it caused loss of respect, how it caused loss of attraction, how it actually worked against your favor as a man, and you want to start building confidence, respect, and attraction instead, and you want to do this in the DMs, you want to do this over text, you want to do this over calls, you want to do this in person, then you should stay on this video because I'm going to teach you something very, very powerful, and this will change your interaction with a woman forever. Now, there are 3 pillars when it comes to describing a woman. The first pillar is that you have to be extremely observant. And this is what it means to be a grounded man. When people are around me, I'm talking about my own personal experience here, I don't say much. I know I talk a lot in my videos, but there's a reason why I can articulate myself very well is because I am extremely introspective and observant. I observe a lot. I am a very quiet guy. If you've ever interacted with me in person, you would have noticed that. And there's a reason why you need to be this way is because when you are observant, when you are calm, when you are grounded, when you don't have all these racing thoughts in your head and you're reactive and you're trying to figure out, what should I say to her next and what should I say here, and you're trying to do all these pickup lines, well, you're actually not able to build a connection with her. Because you're trying to play some sort of game. You're trying to manipulate. You're trying to genuinely get this girl to like you, and you think that you have to be on top of it. You think you have to play this game. You think you have to, there's some strategy, all right? It's always about some next chess move, but it's really not. If you're observant, if you're receptive, if you're reading her energy, if you're reading her in general, and then from there you start to describe the process of what she is actually doing in her energy, within the words she's saying, through her actions, through a lot of different things, which I'm going to explain later on in this video, you will actually start to build this connection with her. So you're describing a process with her instead of describing some sort of trait. Okay, so we start with observation instead of judging. We start to describe the process instead of describing some sort of trait. And then we sit in silence. Why do we sit in silence? What did I say about being a grounded man? Because a grounded man sits in silence and he uses silence to his favor. Why? Because words are like supply and demand for a man. The more words that come out of your mouth, the less those words have meaning. Pay very close attention to what I just said. The less words a man says, the more those words start to hold weight. So your job is to sit in silence and use the silence to work in your favor. A woman will naturally want to fill the silence after you describe her accurately and effectively. She will start to process that because silence allows for her to come up with something in her mind about what you said. And by the way, women can come up with fantasies a lot better than you, my friend. You can say whatever you want, but whatever she can come up with in her mind will be a lot better than what you could ever say out of your words. Okay, so your job is to observe, describe, and let the silence do the work, not just sit there, observe, and then judge her, and then talk about her traits like her eyes or her smile, and then over-explain, say, well, your eyes are pretty, and then your smile is pretty, and guess what? She left the date. Guess what? She doesn't want to talk to you. Guess what? She's stopped building that attraction to you. Why? Because you did the opposite of what I'm teaching you right now. Now, remember this, is that you have to say one line only. You have to pause and make eye contact. Eye contact with a woman is the most powerful indicator of your presence, your groundedness, your leadership as a man. The second you take away your eye contact, the second you lose your frame, she thinks to herself, I am more powerful than this guy. This guy couldn't even hold eye contact with me. I am not attracted to this man anymore. There's something about him that is weak. Maybe he's hiding something. I don't know. But she's going to figure it out. We don't have to think about what she's going to come up with in her mind. That's up to her. I'm going to teach you what to do, and that way you can avoid her doing all that and thinking all these crazy things and then leaving you eventually, okay? So this is the pillars. This is the process. Now, here is the winning formula when it comes to describing a woman. It's very similar to the 3 pillars. You're going to notice, you're going to name, you're going to pause, and then you're going to relate, which is very optional, by the way. Okay, you don't have to relate all the time. So I'm going to make this very simple for you to understand. You're going to observe what it is that she is doing through her energy, through her interaction, through her physical presence, through her words. You're going to describe what you have observed. You are going to let the silence do the work for you, and then you can make an assumptive relation. So for example, you seem very grounded in your energy today. Silence. She says, oh, really? Yeah. Something tells me that it's a special moment in your life going on right now. And that's it. You just related to her. I just came up with that off the top of my head. She's going to sit there. She's going to think, even though that wasn't the best line, she's going to sit there, she's going to think, she's going to be like, whoa, yeah, something special did happen in my life today. Because women are very affirmative and receptive. So if you tell her that something special happened in her life, even though nothing happened in her life today, maybe she just had a regular day, she will start to find the special things that happened in her life. And this is how powerful this stuff is. Now, by the way, we're going to go into the categories. And before I go any further, this is NLP behavior. Okay, this is neuro-linguistic program. This is very hardcore stuff. This is very dangerous stuff. If you use this, a woman can fall in love with you, and it's almost a sense of hypnosis. So please, 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 I mentioned this before, do not use this for manipulation. Do not use my information for the wrong purposes. This is for good intentions. I have released myself of any religious liability, any energetic liability as of this point. Whatever you do with this information is up to you at this point. Okay, so you're not going to compliment her. You're not going to say, you're amazing. I've never met anyone like you. You're not going to make any future promises. All these things do is dictate to a woman that you don't have edge, you don't have frame, that you've placed her on a pedestal, that she's better than you, that you are not better than her, and then all authority, all power, all groundedness, all attraction is lost because hypergamy is lost. Now, hypergamy, the Google definition talks about social economic status, right? Girls are gold diggers, whatever. No, that's not what it is. All women want is a man who is better than them, a man who can teach them things, a man who can lead, a man who they can vent to, and they know for a fact that he's not going to react, that he's not going to fold under pressure, that they can actually rely on this guy, that they can feel safe around this guy. So that is what it means, okay? You're like a brick wall that she can lean against, and that wall's not going to break. Best analogy I can use. Now, here are the categories for each observation that you are going to make. This is NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Okay, you're only going to use one at a time, and please do not stack these. Okay, if you start to stack these, you are going to start to fall into the 6 mistakes here. Okay, so you're going to use one at a time, and we're going to go ahead right here. So the first one is presence and energy. You are going to describe her presence and her energy. And this is when you become observant and you see, what is her presence like? What is her energy like? Now, a very important tip here is even if her presence and energy is a little chaotic, don't describe it as chaotic because all you're going to do is get more of that out of her. If you want her to be more calm, if you want her to be more relaxed, if you want her to be more feminine, you are going to describe her presence and her energy in that fashion. So this is a good way to affirm what you want your woman to be as well. You can quite literally lead your woman energetically and spiritually in this moment by using this stuff. So one thing you could say here is, wow, your presence is so grounded today. Your energy is so calm and elegant today. That's it. Just silence. Let it sit. You can make a relation if you want. Micro behaviors. This is when you notice the little things that she does. Every single person has micro behaviors. I have micro behaviors. I squint my eyes a certain way, move my hands a certain way. So when she's speaking, if she moves her hands a certain way, wow, you move your hands a certain way when you speak. Pause. Oh, really? You can add a relation. Yeah. It makes me think you're a very intellectual person. That's it. You use an assumptive phrase. That's it. Let it sit. That's going to sit with her forever. She's never going to forget the way that you described her, especially a micro behavior. Any one of these, she's never going to forget the way you described her. Emotional regulation. Now, emotional regulation is a very important one because with emotional regulation, what you are doing is you are describing how she regulates her emotions, which is very powerful for a woman. So for example, if she got some bad news, or if she got emotionally charged, or if she got a phone call and she's not in the best mood now, all you got to say is, wow, you regulate your emotions so well. It must have been tough listening to that phone call, but you handled it very, very well. That's it. You're describing her. She's going to sit there. She's going to take in what you said. And she'll be like, whoa, he's right. And not only did you describe her, you actually resonated with how she was feeling, which is exactly what you need to do with the woman when you listen to her. By the way, if this stuff is helpful so far, I will be releasing a video on how to listen to women properly. And that is one of the key principles in how to communicate with women, how to understand the energy of women. So subscribe to this channel so you don't miss that video. Now, with time and flow, which is the next one, this is a very powerful one because this is where you can really, really tap into her energy. All right? If you say something like, wow, we've spent 3 hours together. Feels like it's only been 20 minutes. Now, this one's a very easy one that people actually say naturally. That's it. Time stops when I'm around you. Time slows down when I'm around you. You know, when I'm with you, I don't really feel like thinking about anything else. I'm not really focused on my work. It's very easy to be present with you. Sit there, pause. This is a description, by the way, because you're not complimenting her, you're not praising her, you're praising the time and flow. You're describing the time and flow that you have with her, right? When you're interacting with her, when you're building a connection with her. The next one, sensory. Now, this falls into 3 categories. We have visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Okay, now this is very, very important because there's a big difference between sensory and embodiment. I'll get to that when I get to embodiment. But with sensory, we can go with visual. All right, the first one, visual, you could say something like, you see things differently. I can tell. That's it. Pause. I'm just coming up with these off the top of my head, by the way. All right, audio. When you speak, when you communicate with me, you do it in such an elegant way. It really makes me want to listen to you. Stop, pause, let her process it. Kinesthetic. Wow, you walk with so much confidence. You must be in a good mood today. Pause. You see how easy this stuff is? If you've ever watched any movies, read any books about female fantasy, you'll realize that this is literally what is happening in those movies, especially what the main character is doing. He's never complimenting the woman. Ever. You'll notice. He's never praising the woman. He's always describing her. He's making her fall in love with her, right? Next one, identity mirror. This one's a very, very powerful one. So this is assumptive phrasing. You are going to be holding a mirror to her identity. You seem like a very grounded person. You seem like someone who respects yourself. You seem like someone who loves the beach. You love the water. You love the ocean. That's it. You're just going to hold an identity, a mirror to her, and you're just going to let it sit. And you can use assumptive phrasing like you seem, or you can even use the opposite. Something tells me you're not one of those girls who's into zodiacs. Something tells me you're not one of those girls who likes to waste your time with low-value people. That's it. You're holding an identity to her, and you're just going to let it sit. Right? So you're noticing we say one line and we just let it sit. Contrast and polarity. This one's very, very powerful, but you need to use this one with discretion. Okay? You don't want to use this one too much because the thing with women is that they're very receptive and they pick up on each one of these very quick. So if you're going to overuse all of these, you're going to start stacking these descriptions, all that's going to happen is she's going to start to think you're manipulative and she's going to know what you are doing, right? Which is not the intention here. The intention here is to build connection. The intention here is not to riz. The intention here is not to play. The intention here is not to manipulate. So with contrast and polarity, what we're going to do is we're going to pick a trait and then we're going to contrast it right away. So we're going to say, you seem very fiery today, like fired up energetically, but also a little grounded at the same time. You see what I did there? Fiery, I mean, she's excited, but she's also grounded at the same time. Wow, you seem full of energy, but there's a peace about you today. That's it. You just let it sit. Implied depth. Now, this one's very powerful, especially when you are courting a woman, okay? When you are first speaking to a woman and you're really building a connection with her, something tells me that there's much more to you. Maybe there's a darker side to you. There's something deep about you. Maybe it's something that has to do with your family, right? And you can say this and then go into assumptive relation, right? So follow the formula, okay? So implied depth is basically you're telling her that there's more to her. There's more to her. Something tells me there's more to you, all right? And this is going to be very powerful because women are very sensitive, feeling individuals. So for you to notice her depth would be very arousing to her. It will be very attractive to her. And look, we're not here to seduce and arouse and do that stuff, right? What we're here to do is build connection. This is what this really does. Okay, the next one is an emotional echo. Now, the emotional echo is very powerful as well. all you are going to do is you are going to notice her emotions and you are going to echo it back to her. She's smiling. Wow, you are radiating right now. That's it. Emotional echo. Okay? She's a little sad. I can tell. You're a little frustrated right now. Yeah, I am frustrated. See, you're describing her, and it works not only with compliments, but even describing her current state, her current emotions, which is very, very powerful. With the emotional echo, not only are you in a position to describe her emotions, but you can describe her thoughts. You seem thoughtful today. You seem charismatic today. You seem emphatic today. You seem like you're in a good mood today. Right? So you can start to really echo who she is, what she's feeling, and what she is thinking. Now with the relational frame, all you are going to do is you are going to be describing the relationship that you two have. Now this one's very, very easy if you play it right. If you two are having a good moment, by the way, if you two are having a great moment, what you will do is all you have to say is, this feels easy. Life feels easy with you. That's it. This feels like a breeze. This feels effortless. I love this moment. This is a great moment between us, right? And you start to describe that moment. You describe the relational frame. Receiving femininity, what you're going to be doing is you're not going to be teaching here. What you are going to be doing is you're going to be describing her receptive state in a way that makes her feel more feminine, that also grounds her a little bit, that does not put her on a pedestal. So for example, let's say you do tell her that her smile is beautiful. Let's say you do tell her that her eyes are looking very pretty today. Let's say you do tell her, wow, I really like your outfit today. It looks nice. Let's say you say something like that, which is not too descriptive, but it's a straight compliment. It's a straight praise. What you can do is you can say, pause. You receive compliments so gracefully. That's it. And it puts you back into the frame of leadership. It puts you back in the frame of description. Okay? Now, next one, embodiment. Now, this one's very advanced. Only do this one if you've actually started to practice these other ones. Now, this one you have to be very careful because you were speaking about a woman's body. Now, a woman doesn't want to be objectified until she does want to be objectified. Now, what I mean by that is that a woman, she doesn't want to be objectified, but she does want to be noticed when she wants to be noticed. So, for example, if she puts on a nice dress, or she has nice composure, or she sits in a certain way, or she carries herself in a certain way, and she wants you to notice. She actually wants you to notice what it is that you are doing, what it is that she is doing. All you are going to do here is you're going to say, well, you're very grounded in your body today. You're very confident in the way that you're carrying yourself today, right? And what that does is you're describing her body. You know, something tells me that we're going to have a very fun night tonight, just with the way you're carrying yourself today. That's it. And you add some mystery, you add some seduction, right? There's some sexual energy there. Now again, use this with your wife, please, only. Now, here are some don'ts, okay? Do not start to manufacture lines. Do not start to manufacture lines that you don't actually mean. Don't start saying this stuff just to say it. Now, if you sat there and took notes of what I just explained to you, and you're like, okay, well, let me just go use these lines because those were awesome lines, without actually observing, without actually paying attention, without actually having the right tonality, then all you are going to do is come off as cheesy, corny, manipulative, as if you're trying to game, and nothing really separates you from any other man on planet Earth. You are just like every other unskilled man when it comes to the art of women on planet Earth if you are just going to manufacture lines that you don't mean. Do not practice this on random women, please. All right? Like I said, this is a righteous page. We are promoting good intentions here. Do not go and practice this on random women because the stuff works. Okay? I'm going to save you the trouble. The stuff works. Okay? You don't have to go practice it. I'm guaranteeing that it works. That's it. Force intimacy. Please do not force intimacy. When you say this stuff and she actually responds like she's supposed to, don't just say, oh, well, cool, now here's my window to start reproducing with my woman. No. You can push that line on her, and then your job is to sit in silence. And if you push and pull enough times, if you have enough presence in space, it builds enough tension for her to actually want the intimacy as bad as you do. You will know when to actually get into that state with your woman. The next one is stop spamming descriptions. Like I said, do not stack any of these descriptions together. It is not something that works. Don't describe her every second of every moment. Every other line is some sort of description. She's gonna pick up on it. Women are very energetically receptive, as I said before. She's gonna pick up on it. This is stuff you're going to use maybe once in a while, right? Because describing a woman, by the way, is so powerful that she will never forget it. She will not. It just will sit with her forever. She will remember the way you described her 5 years ago. That's it. If you described her well and you were actually observant and you paid attention and you had presence and you didn't just use empty words, she will remember the way you described her 5 years ago, and she will keep it in her mind, and that could be the very reason why she stays with you even through a tough time. Yep. Now, a very important note here is that your energy, your tone, and your receptivity is more important than any of the words that could come out of your mouth. You have to sit there, be patient, observe very well. Observe very well. You have to observe what's going on. You have to observe her energy. You have to observe her body language, what she is doing. And you are going to speak with a soft tone, with a sarcastic tone, with an assertive tone, with an assumptive tone, with a flirty tone, whatever it is, whatever is appropriate, because you actually observed. You actually read the energy. You have to enter into almost a feminine state, which means you have to enter into a receptive state to be able to read her energy accordingly, so that you can actually go back into your masculine and give her the right energy back for her to receive. So if you're just going to give her words and spam descriptions and force things and just do this the wrong way, you can try all of these. None of it's going to work, okay? So a practice that you can do is pick 3 of these categories with the examples that I gave you. You can even come up with examples yourself that are based on the woman that you have in mind. You are going to use 1 line per interaction. So for example, if you have 1 date with your wife, use only 1 description. That is it, okay? When you go home, use 1 description. When you wake up next to her, use 1 description, okay? The next thing is, do not praise her for 24 hours. Do not praise her. Do not put her on the pedestal. Do not do any of this. Try this for 24 hours. Try this for the whole week, actually. Try this for the whole month. Do not praise her at all, and describe her instead once in a while. And I promise you, you will see the shift. She will start to think about you all the time. And then last note here is, this is not it. Okay, like I told you, this is actually just a nuance of how to communicate with women. And that communication with women is also a nuance of how to master the energy of women, right? So if this is something that you're interested in, if you're interested in learning more about women, the energy of women, the psychology of women, how women actually see the world, and how to build attraction, not lose attraction, so she doesn't pull away, she doesn't leave you, she doesn't want to divorce you, she doesn't want to pull out last second. If you want to marry her, she gets cold feet. If you don't want all that to happen, then subscribe to this channel, because I will be releasing more videos like this. And I also have a lot of videos on my Instagram that talk about this. Quick 2-minute, 1-minute, 3-minute clips that will teach you a lot. Anyways, that's it for this video. May Allah bless you.